A horrifying situation unfolding this weekend in Brooklyn. New York City police say a woman was set on fire as she slept on a subway train. Now a person of interest in custody this morning. I do want to bring in Briella Tomasetti with our Fox 5 New York team following all of the developments, joining us now with the latest. Briella, absolutely terrifying situation there. Glad a person of interest is in custody.
Yeah, Josh, absolutely horrific. You took the words right out of my mouth. Also, there is video, MTA surveillance video circulating of this incident. We have chosen, obviously, not to air it because it is absolutely too graphic. But that person of interest, according to police, is a 33-year-old man from Guatemala. Police have yet to ID him or formally charge him. The NYPD, though, saying this is no doubt one of the most depraved acts of violence they have ever seen. Let's backtrack, though, for a moment. Investigators say just before 7:30 yesterday morning, both the female victim and a 33-year-old man rode the F train to the Stillwell Avenue subway station here in Coney Island. When that train stopped at the end of the line, the man calmly walked up to the woman who was seated and set her on fire with his lighter. Officers working on the upper level of the station smelled smoke and rushed down to the platform. They put out the flames, but it was already too late. That woman died here at the scene from her injuries. Now, responding officers captured photos of the assailant on their body-worn cameras. That was key in his arrest. He was wearing a gray hoodie, wool hat, jeans, and work boots. Here's what we know from police about his arrest so far.
3 high school-age New Yorkers called 911 to say that they recognize the suspect. Other transit officers responded to that 911 call and also spotted the man.
This individual was recognized at the J and York Street station on the F line. That individual arrived here, it looks like in 2018, from Guatemala.
And hours after the attack, Governor Kathy Hochul posted these photos to social media, touting how safe the subways have become since she deployed the National Guard to the system in March. According to the numbers she released earlier this month, crime is down and ridership is up. Now, getting back to this attack here at the Stillwell Avenue subway station in Coney Island, it's unclear if the person of interest, again from Guatemala, is documented or undocumented. We're hoping to get some more information once he is identified. As I mentioned earlier, the victim also has yet to be ID'd by police, but just a horrific attack. And right now, there is not a clear motive behind it. For now, we're live here in Coney Island. Josh, back to you.
Yeah, keep saying it, but terrifying, horrifying. Briella Tomasetti there with our Fox 5 New York station. We'll be in touch as we gather the latest. Thank you so much, as always, for being here.
Yeah,
Tens of thousands of chickens are dead after a fire in Moore County. You can see the whole poultry house was involved in this blaze. It took firefighters 45 minutes to put it out. WRAL's Carly Haynes joins us live in Moore County. Carly, you were able to talk to a fire chief who responded. What did you learn?
Well, Grace, I want to show you what this looks like right now. This poultry house is on the ground. Parts of it are still smoking. It is just destroyed. And when we spoke to that owner off camera, they said that this cost them about $400,000. And there was some drone video that flew over it a little earlier, so you can see the extent of the damage. It shows heavy smoke. The Seven Lakes Fire Chief says 20,000 chickens inside the shelter have died as a result. And the chickens were brought in just about 2 weeks ago. Flames went up just before 7:30 this morning. Fortunately, firefighters were able to prevent the flames from spreading to other poultry houses nearby. As you said, the fire took crews about 45 minutes to contain. Multiple departments had to assist with this. That includes Seven Lakes and West End. They said fires have the potential to spread quickly in structures like this one.
In a house or in an attic, you have, firewalls or breaks in it that allows it to kind of contain. In an open structure like that, it's very difficult because it'll run through a whole building pretty quickly.
And the Seven Lakes Fire Marshal will be investigating the cause of this. They don't know the cause at this point. The owners said that they likely won't be rebuilding this particular structure. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Moore County.
A city councillor has inadvertently recorded the moment a major bridge collapsed in Brazil's northeast.
It's understood multiple people were killed as vehicles plunged into the water below, though exact numbers haven't been confirmed. There have been years' worth of complaints about the poor maintenance of the bridge. Still in Brazil, and a small plane has crashed into shops in the city's south, killing all 10 people on board. It happened minutes after takeoff, the plane hitting the chimney of one building before careering into a furniture store and bursting into flames. Another 17 people were injured. It's unclear what caused the tragedy. Now to incredible pictures out of Serbia. Thousands of protesters have streamed into the capital in the freezing cold to vent their fury at the country's leadership. They're calling for the resignation of their president, blaming him for failures leading to a railway station roof collapse which killed 15 people. It's one of the biggest rallies there in years.
One person is dead following the collapse of a bridge connecting two Brazilian cities in the northeast of the country today. Fire officials say one person was rescued alive. It's estimated 11 people and multiple vehicles were involved in the incident. A tanker truck carrying sulfuric acid spilled into the river. Brazil's National Department of Transport Infrastructure says the 533-meter bridge gave way in the afternoon local time. Drone footage was used to confirm video taken by people on the scene.
People are dead and 13 others are injured after a horrific bus crash in Brazil. The vehicle collided with a truck and a granite block before bursting into flames.
A fireball in the middle of a highway. The intense flames leaving just the metal shell of the bus behind. Dozens on board were killed, including the driver. Witnesses told emergency services the bus blew a tyre and lost control, careening into a truck and a granite block in the country's northeast. Another car heading in the same direction, becoming part of the carnage, but incredibly, all three inside that vehicle survived. 13 people were injured and taken to hospital, this local firefighter confirms. The bus, with 45 people on board, had left Sao Paulo earlier that day. The local area governor ordering the full mobilisation of the government to assist the victims, the country's president praying for the recovery of the survivors. Poor road conditions and low driving standards mean Brazil has a high road fatality rate. More than 10,000 people have died in crashes this year. Shelley Doyle, 9 News.
There are car graveyards everywhere here on the outskirts of Valencia City, more than a month after the catastrophic floods. The destroyed cars are a silent and painful reminder for residents here. Like Mary Garcia, she lost her father in the floods.
The police officer checked my phone and told me my father didn't receive any messages after 7:35 p.m. So his cell phone must have got wet. But the flood alarm wasn't triggered until over half an hour later, by which time my father had already died. No one alerted us.
Felipe Garcia Monteagudo's body was found 10 days later by volunteers. Help from the authorities was and still is scarce, says Marie.
We did get psychological help, but we only received 2 phone calls this whole month. It's not enough. We're all taking pills to be able to sleep because of the daily recurring nightmares. I can't stop thinking about what my father suffered. He was clinging to a fence. No one rescued him.
It's a trauma she shares with many. The floods on October 29th were the worst in decades in Spain. They followed heavy rains and destroyed entire neighborhoods. At least 222 people died. Starting over is difficult. For businesses too. Only a few shops in the area have reopened, like this butcher. A supermarket manager donated a few thousand euros to help store manager Margarita Carrion open up again.
It means a lot to me, seeing people come back in, not crying. Because when the shop was closed, they came to hug us and cry. It was all crying. You form a bond with people that you didn't have before.
For shoppers, even going into a local store is an emotional experience.
I'm happy because we've been practically abandoned. We had nowhere to go to buy anything, not even a loaf of bread.
It was volunteers who cleared the mud from the shops. Financial aid from the government has only reached few of those affected.
It feels wrong. People like me are really hurt financially. I hope some help arrives soon, because the debts are really piling up.
A short drive away, Miguel Camacho is also struggling. Miguel was born with a rare neuromuscular disorder and is paralyzed. He and his family lost their adapted van to the floods. He's yet to receive financial aid to replace it, he tells us via computer.
I can't get to medical appointments, therapies, or leisure activities.
The family raised money for a new van via crowdfunding, but it will take weeks, even months before it's adapted. But for Miguel, it's about more than a van.
So much damage has been done. I feel sorry above all for those who have died. Many of the deaths could have been avoided. But I also have the feeling that disabled people have been completely forgotten in this crisis. You can see that just from the example of public buses. They're not adapted for people with reduced mobility. No thought has been given to this. The same applies to financial support.
Neglect. A feeling that unites those affected. The regional government has admitted that mistakes were made, both in the emergency response as well as the aftermath. DW's requests for an interview remain unanswered. For locals like Marie Garcia, an apology is not enough. She's convinced if the warning systems had worked, her father would still be alive. She started a petition demanding justice for the victims. Tens of thousands have signed.
I think this is the only way people will see the reality here, how we've been left alone. If it weren't for the volunteers, the misery would be much greater and ongoing. I want to make it clear. My father didn't just die, he was killed, and there will be justice.
Here in Valencia, a new slogan is doing the rounds. Only the people save the people. Trust in the authorities has worn very thin.
Ovdje sam da ubrzam propast ove tiranije i očekujem da se to desi što pre.
toga, htjela bih da kažem da smo tu da odamo počast žrtvama u Novom Sadu i tu sam jer je dosta. Izašli smo svi na ulice jer ovo stvarno nema smisla što se radi u ovoj državi. I ako studirala sam i radim preko, tako da došla sam da podržim studente, prosvetare, glumce i sve građane Srbije.
U ovom trenutku podrška ovim mladim ljudima je najvažnija. Da mi stariji učimo od njih, da učinimo sve što možemo da oni osete, da je neko uz njih i da se vrati normalnost i da se vrati stid u ovu zemlju.
A to ste vi. Tam zákon smo postavili a vybojovali slobodu.
Chcem sa spýtať ale najvyššieho predstaviteľa našho
Vladimírom Putinom.
Národná rada Slovenskej republiky má podľa ústavy článok 80.
Dobrý deň, alebo priatelia. Ja chcem hovoriť len.
Patríme do Európskej únie, sme v Európskej únii, sme v NATO a to, čo je vlastne zrada. On patrí nikam inam a nech zostane v Moskve.
The United States has escalated military tensions with China by authorizing a substantial military aid package to Taiwan, directly challenging Beijing's sovereignty claims. This latest strategic move involves a $571 million defense support package designed to bolster Taiwan's military capabilities. The US Department of Defense has approved defense articles, services, and military training that signal an unwavering commitment to Taiwan's defense infrastructure. China's foreign ministry has strongly condemned the decision, warning that the United States is playing with fire by interfering in what it considers an internal matter. A spokesperson emphasized that this action seriously violates the One China principle and threatens China's fundamental national interests. The aid package includes tactical radio systems, gun mounts, and advanced military equipment, representing a significant enhancement of Taiwan's defensive capabilities. This isn't an isolated incident. It follows a previous $567 million military support package authorized in September. China's response has been unequivocal, with diplomatic channels issuing stern warnings about potential consequences. The Chinese Foreign Ministry has lodged serious protests, describing the Taiwan question as a red line in US-China relations that must not be crossed. Taiwan's Foreign Ministry, meanwhile, welcomed the US support, viewing it as a critical reaffirmation of American commitment to the island's defense. This sentiment underscores the complex geopolitical dynamics at play in the Taiwan Strait. The military aid comes against a backdrop of increasing Chinese military pressure, including frequent deployments of fighter jets, drones, and warships around Taiwan. Beijing has consistently maintained that unification is inevitable and has not ruled out using force to achieve its objectives. US President Joe Biden's authorization of the package demonstrates a continued policy of strategic support for Taiwan, despite not maintaining official diplomatic recognition. The move reflects a delicate balancing act of supporting Taiwan while attempting to manage tensions with China. Experts suggest this escalation could potentially trigger broader diplomatic fallout, affecting areas of cooperation between the United States and China. The timing, just before a potential administrative transition, might be strategically significant in maintaining a consistent foreign policy approach. The military aid package includes advanced equipment designed to enhance Taiwan's asymmetric warfare capabilities, effectively providing a defensive deterrent against potential Chinese military actions. This includes modern tactical systems that could significantly complicate any potential invasion scenario. China's repeated warnings about playing with fire suggest the potential for increased military activities in the Taiwan Strait. The Chinese government has consistently viewed these military support packages as direct interference in its internal affairs. Taiwan remains a critical geopolitical flashpoint, with its democratic governance standing in stark contrast to China's authoritarian system. The island's strategic location and technological significance make it a key point of contention in international relations. The escalating tensions highlight the fragile balance of power in the Asia-Pacific region, with potential implications for global diplomatic and military strategies. As both nations continue to assert their positions, the international community watches with increasing concern. While diplomatic channels remain open, the risk of miscalculation remains high. The continued military support and China's aggressive stance suggest that the Taiwan issue remains one of the most volatile geopolitical challenges of our time.